Om Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama ani sthaha shrutam me ma prahasihi anena dhitena horatran samdadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavatu tadvaktaramavatu avatu mam avatu vaktaram avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right, we are in the very nice place. Let me open. We are here. We stopped at number 4. We didn't go far. But this, because we read Savitri passages which are so profound, which are fitting exactly to these shlokas. So, if I just overview very briefly, very fast, the beginning of 3 to come to the 4th, it's always good to do. I will read them and translate from them immediately. Abodhi agnih samidha jananam pratidhenum ivayati mushasam yahva iva pravayamujjihanach prabhanavach sisratenakam acha. Awaken is the flame kindled by those who are born in the body, and towards the cow approaching to him, the dawn as the cow approaching the calf, he moved. And we also woke up in the morning full of energy, rising upward, the same as the flames of the fire reaching straight towards heaven. Abodhi Hota awoke the fire, the Hota, the priest, the summoner of the gods, Yajathaya Devan, to sacrifice here the gods. Urdhvo Agnih, high he stood, at Asthat, he stood up high, Sumanav Pratach, with beautiful mind in the morning. Samidhasya Rushad Adarshi Paja, and his pajas, his staff, shining or flaming, Rushad, abode of him flamed Samidhasya. Adarshi was visible. Mahandevastamaso Niramochi, the great God was delivered out of the darkness. Yadim Ganasya Rashanama Jigach, and when the whole row of his hosts, his powers, was awoken within him, Ajigach, yeah? Shuchich Ankte Shuchibhir Gobhich Agni. Agni was shining with pure flames of pure rays of light, being pure. Ad Dakshina Yujyateva Jayanti Uttana Murdvo Adhayat Juhubhich. And this is the number 3 where we stopped. Here it is. I will just finish with this. For the goddess who discerns grows in plenitude and is yoked to her works. He exalted, she extended supine. He feeds on her with his flames of offering. So when the mother dawn approaches the fire, in other place it is said he approaches her as a beggar for delight. So she extends, she grows vast, and he becomes exalted. He stands up high, and he feeds on her light with his flames of offering. You can imagine how they join together beautifully. And we read some of these passages, beautiful passages from Savitri, and stopped here. Agnim achhadevayatam manansis chakshun shiva surya sancharanti yadim suvate ushasavi rupe shvetova ji jayate agreahnam. So the minds of man who grow in the Godhead move entirely towards the flame of will. This flame of will is the divine within man. Even as all the seeings converge in the sun that illumines. All the visions come to the sun, to the higher flame. All the willpower comes within the man, calling from within. When the two dawns of opposite forms delivered of him, he is born as a white steed in front of the days. Can you imagine the white steed in front of the days running? What a picture. This is him. The days are following after him. He is in front, galloping, leading the days forward. So the two dawns are two mothers, the dawn and the night, the dusk and the dawn. There on the lap of them he is fed, nourished. They are nourishing him, and we spoke about this, coming up and down, feeding our growing self within us, growing soul. So here there are few passages which we stopped at. I want to go through them once and then we go to the next verse. His heights, that's when Ashvapati comes from the lower hemisphere ascending with Agni. His heights of being lived in the still self. His mind could rest on a supernal ground and look down on the magic and the play where the God-child, the fire God-child, lies on the lap of night and dawn, and the everlasting puts on time's disguise. So the everlasting puts on the time's disguise. So disguises itself in time. This is the engine of all the moving forward, the fire on the lap of the night and dawn, working within manifestation. And notice he looks from above down. We spoke about this the other day. But now, it's interesting. There is another description by Aurobindo of the fire finally arriving to the higher realms of consciousness, which is very similar to the imagery of the release of fire as the white steed in front of the days, Shvetova ji jayate agre ahnam. At last the traveler in the paths of time arrives on the frontiers of eternity. Frontiers of eternity. In the transient symbol of humanity draped, he feels his substance of undying self and loses his kinship to mortality. Kinship to mortality he's losing. That's the traveler. We are all travelers here, and we all have the flame within. It's quite interesting. That's why the whole beginning is this, the Abodhi Agni Samidha Jananam. Agni is kindled by those who are born in the body. It is we who carry the flame. And now, this is something. This is the passage we have to concentrate. The mighty kingdoms of the deathless flame aspired to reach the being's absolute. So the deathless flame always aspires forward to reach the being's absolutes, higher and higher. Out of the sorrow and darkness of the world, out of the depths where life and thought are tombed, notice, out of the sorrow and darkness of the world, Tamaso Niramochi. He was delivered out of the darkness, out of the depths where life and thought are tombed. Our life and thoughts are tombed in out of those depths. Lonely mounts up to heaven the deathless flame. There is someone there within who is alone, mounts up. In a veiled nature's hallowed secrecies, it burns forever on the altar mind. We will come to this passage once more. This altar mind, the mind, Manansi. Do we have this here? Devayatam Manansi, the minds of all those who are seeking the divinity. All the minds are coming to him, to Agni, because the mind is, interestingly enough, is a free will in us. And this is the altar of Agni, of the divine flame within us. So it burns forever on the altar mind. Its priests, the souls of dedicated gods. There is the whole big passage where Aurobindo describes all the priests as the powers of Agni. They are doing a particular yagya, sacrifice, and they are functions of Agni to make Agni work better. Its priests, the souls of dedicated gods, all the gods are nothing but the functionalities of this Agni to flame higher and higher. Humanity, its house of sacrifice. And we, as human beings, we are housing this sacrifice. We are the framework in which this burning is taking place and the oblation is taking place. We are here to constantly offer whatever we are in this house. We are the Yajamana, the one who is burning within this house. Once kindled, never can its flaming cease. A fire along the mystic paths of earth, it rises through the mortal hemisphere, till borne by runners of the day and dusk, it enters the occult eternal light and clambers, whitening, to the invisible throne. He climbs, whitening, becoming brighter and brighter with every step upward to the invisible throne of the Lord. This is so beautiful. This is Sri Aurobindo, you see. And you can see that it is all charged with Vedic imagery. Yeah? It is all taken from the Vedas. And that becomes Sri Aurobindo's poetry. All right. Towards Agni directly, of the minds of those who seek the divinity here, the divine life, and their visions, as if their visions join in the supernal light of Surya. When the dawn and the dusk produce or bring to birth, different in form, he, the white steed, is born in front of the days. I just read once more. And then, Janishtahi genio agre ahnam, hito hiteshu arusho vaneshu, dame saptaratna dadhanach, agnirhota nishasada yajiyan. Born Janishta. Janishta is aorist without augment, we call it injunctive. Born is the one victorious, genia, Aurobindo genia translates as victorious, of noble origin, true, genuine, it's interesting, genuine genia. So he is genuine and or victorious, or I translate it a bit differently. Who is worthy of birth, genia. Born is the one who is worthy of birth. Aurobindo translates victorious. He is born in front of the days. A ruddy worker, established in the established delights. Hitach, hiteshu, arushach, the blazing with the red color, vaneshu, in all the delights. Upholding in house after house the seven ecstasies, dame dame saptaratna dadhanach, establishing or holding the seven jewels or seven delights or seven ecstasies, dame dame, in each house, in every framework, in every body. He holds the seven jewels, seven realizations of delight. Strength has taken his seat as a priest of the offering, mighty for sacrifice. Hota, Agnir Hota, Nishasada, Yajian. He sat down, took his place, even more powerful in the sacrifice. So he is capable even more to sacrifice now.
Vladimir,
Yeah.
in the first line, when there is seven ecstasies, what does that mean? The seven kinds of delight.
Aurobindo gives this footnote we can read. To each principle of our nature there corresponds a certain divine ecstasy, and on each plane, seven planes, in each body or house, Agni establishes these ecstasies, delights of existence. They are all on all the levels.
So the planes means one is not the physical plane, other one is the vital plane, like this, right?
Yes, absolutely. On each plane there is one ecstasy, which Agni is holding. Right. Okay, we move forward. There are no Sri Aurobindo's poem, Savitri here. Agnir hota ni asadat ni asidat yajiyan. Again, it repeats the same here. Janishta jeniyach. The born is the one worthy of birth, because that his divine birth is becoming obvious. Agreahnam, in front of the days. Hitach, established hiteshu, in the established ones. Arushach, ruddy, vaneshu, in all the enjoyments. Vaneshu, in the forests, or in the enjoyments, delights. Vana means both, forest and delight. Dame dame, in each house, in each body, saptaratna dadhanach, he holds seven ecstasies. Agnir hota, the flame, the summoner of the gods, Nishasada, has settled down deeply within the being. Yajiyan, capable of greater and greater sacrifices, greater and greater growth of consciousness, capable of even greater. This, I love this language of the Veda. You would not find it anywhere. This yajiyan is a comparative adjective, which means more sacrificing. But it is not compared to anything. There is no comparison, not more sacrificing than. There is no than something. There is no comparison. But it is used as an independent word, which immediately implies, which plays in the mind in this way, that he is more and more sacrificing, more and more growing in consciousness. When it is irrelevant to anyone, then it has this particular meaning in the mind. Yeah, Anuradha, you agree? If it is not compared, and it is comparative, but it is not compared.
I think it, as you mentioned, I think like what the mother-in-law also evoked from us at the ashram when they had competitions. We had competitions, but those competitions were never meant to be against others, but against ourselves and our own potentials. So it is against what is possible as the highest and what we are doing in comparison to that.
Very nice.
So the offering, there is, so in the Atma Samarpanam and in the Yajna of the Veda, where we have to completely bring in the light, completely offer to the Devas, we have this black and white offerings, sometimes to the Dasyus and sometimes to the Devas. So Yajiyan implies more and more to the Devas so that the Surya is
growing in consciousness more and more, becoming more and more capable of revealing the divine presence. Yes, this is so beautiful what you compared with the mother, that often her competition, she exactly had the same idea, this idea what you expressed, that you don't compete with others, you compete with yourself only. With yourself, which is today, you compete with what it will be tomorrow. So you compete with what you were. Yes, yeah.
It's your highest potential. So it's improving towards achieving your highest potential. So whatever the yajna that you can do, which is a complete offering, a constant remembrance, that Agnaye Swaha Idanna Mama in the absolute sense. So that constant, and because in the Vedas also you have that, not the Navagwas and the Dashagwas. So for the 9 months, those who perform the sacrifice, and then who went on to the 10th month to perform the sacrifice. So it is, right now, we are not even, forget a month, we are not even half a day. Even that is very ambitious.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the scope for Yajiyan is huge. We are right now Ayagaha to become Yajiyan to start.
Alpa Yaga.
Alpa.
Yes, totally. And this idea of moving forward and competing only with yourself who achieved now, so not to stop at every level of achievement, but to move forward, constantly forward, never to be satisfied with your achievements. This is the idea, yeah? And this is the competition. You don't compete with anybody but yourself, who is constantly growing. It's like in Savitri, he says, on the height he stood that looked upon greater heights, So the height looked upon greater heights, and he stood on the height. So it is already calling him to the greater heights, for the journey towards higher and higher. So, of course, we can stop and say that is it. That's the level. I cannot go higher. That's my top. You remember Mother's story of the climbing towards the truth? This is a beautiful drama when several people came together and they were climbing. The artist, the this, that, and the aspirant there was who climbed to the top, and everyone stopped at certain levels. They were satisfied at that level of life, but only the aspirant went to the top. This is quite interesting, that each one is capable of rising to a certain level, and then he feels that it's okay, or she, I can stop here. Great, let me proceed. Agnir hota Nyasidat yajiyan. It repeats from the previous, so beautiful. Agnir, the summoner, has settled within Ni, within, deeply within, Nyasidat yajiyan, capable of greater and greater sacrifices. Upasthematoh surabha uloke, in the lap of the mother, in the beautiful lap, surabhau uloke, in the vast world. This is, I'm just giving here, you see, the Padapatha to show that this is surabhau, and this is a particular Vedic sandhis, where av v dropped, yeah, surabhav uloke. Yuva kavich Purunishthar ritava dharta krishtinam utamadhya iddhach. Strength has taken his seat as the priest of the offering, mighty for sacrifice in the lap of the mother, and in that rapturous other world, young and a seer, standing out in his multitudes, possessed of the truth. It's so beautiful, possessed of the truth. Yeah? This language. They are beholder of those that do the work. And also in between, he is kindled. I will read my interpretation. The flame of the divine will as a priest of the sacrifice has taken his seat, ever growing in his might, becoming more and more active in the sacrifice, in the lap of the mother, in the wide world full of substantial bliss. That's how I translate Surabhau. Young poet fully realized in his own universality, possessed by the truth, the supporter of the peoples in this world, and in between the two worlds, he is kindled. I remember another passage, Upasthematuch. Upasthematuch vichaste. He, in the lap of the mother, the soul sees. This is from another hymn. This in the lap of the mother, Agni is always in the lap of the mother somehow. And this is amazing because if you think about it, that the flame, the psychic flame within the heart, that which is aspiring in us to the higher life, is actually the mother's power. We know it from the mother, actually, in Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo defines these two influences. Sri Aurobindo's power is this something coming from above, the spiritual influence from above the head over the mental and vital consciousness, whereas mother's power is the psychic presence, the psychic flame within the heart, which is influencing the vital and the the physical consciousness. And thus this flame becomes the link to the physicality. It is only through the psychic flame, through this flame, we can transform the physical life. There is no other way to transform the physicality. Because the spiritual influence does not reach, it comes to the mental and vital, it does not touch the physical. There is a gap. Sri Aurobindo speaks about this. When he realized the higher realms of consciousness, he said there was a gap between that and this world. He couldn't bridge it. He didn't know how to do it. Either you are there totally happy, blissful, and have nothing to do with this, all this is an illusion. This illusion idea comes from the real experience. Yeah. Once you are there, it looks like an illusion. This world, this physical world, suffering, sweating, working, hardworking, running, wild. What for? There is no link, no bridge. But when Mother arrived, Sri Aurobindo saw the bridge. He calls her the golden bridge. The golden bridge between this spiritual and the physical. And that is the psychic influence, that flame within the heart. And from that time on, Sri Aurobindo changes all his approach to yoga. And it becomes more and more psychic. It's all centered around psychic. Psychic is to be discovered first. The psychic has to enlarge itself next. Spiritual transformation, which is enlarging of the psychic to the universal format, and then even transcending the universe. And that is the supramental transformation. Again, psychic. Psychic is the key. This flame about which we are reading is the key. Without it, there is nothing is possible. We can leave this world without it. We can go beyond. But with this flame, the transformation of the world and nature can take place. We can become divine here in time and space. And that is the flame in the lap of the mother. Yeah. In the lap of the mother, the soul sees. So beautiful. You know this passage, no? Most probably, some of you may know. We had even a very beautiful here it is. I was looking for it today. Abhi avasthach jayante vivrech vivrihi chiketa upasthe matuch vichaste. State upon state is born. Abhi avasthach jayante. Covering upon covering opens to consciousness of knowledge. Vivrech vivrich chiketa. So after vivri, another vivri is opening, becoming more and more aware, layer upon layer. Upasthe matuch vichaste, the flame sees in the lap of the mother. And Sri Aurobindo gives a note, footnote, in the lap of the mother, the soul sees. Let us read this too. Aditi, the infinite consciousness, mother of all things, the mother, and with the all-embracing vision of the supramental infinite consciousness, the soul sees. That means in the lap of the mother. So because vichaste, notice vichaksh, vichaksh, vichit, vichetas, it is the supramental consciousness. Sri Aurobindo says it is in the Veda, the same as vijnana later in the post-Vedic, yeah? In the post-Rig Vedic. Vijna is not used in the Rig Veda, only vichit, vichetas. Vichaksh in this case, to see vast. We will read this hymn, it's 19th hymn from this mandala, by the way. Oops, sorry. So you see this beautiful Agni, the summoner, he sat deeply within, capable of great sacrifice. Upasthe matuch, in the lap of the mother, in the vast world of rapturous delight, Surabhau uloke. Maybe Sura, Yuva Kavich, Yuva, young or youth, Kavich, the seer, the poet, Purunishtha, established in many places, Sri Aurobindo says, standing out in his multitudes. It's even more beautiful, standing out in all the multitudes, in every form. Ritava, possessor of the Rita, of the truth, dynamic truth. Dharta Krishtinam, upholder of all the working people. Krishti is the race. There are 5 Krishtis mentioned in the Rig Veda. They are here mentioned, you can see them. 5 Aryan tribes of the Yaduch, Turvasuch, Druch, Yuchanuch, and Puruch. And they most probably represent the whole human race. Yeah? 5 different races. Aurobindo speaks, they speak about them as Aryan races. So those who are seeking the divine, Devayatam Manansi, of those who seek the divine manifestation, these are Aryan tribes. So he is the upholder of those Krishtis, of those who are, Krishti is also those who are plowing the soil, yeah, who are working on the land.
Also the meaning of Arya, no? The Ar, one of the meanings of Ar is to plow, to cultivate.
Ri, yes, Ri is to rise.
Ar.
Or, yeah, Ar is from Ri,
No,
yes.
Ar. Ah.
It's from Ri,
Okay.
it's just Guna from Ri. But Ri has this richity, it's interesting. It's always overcoming the obstacles, always breaking through, always rising. Rising is a good word. Yeah. So Krishti is from root krish, to plow, to crush, let us say in English, to crush the soil. Or to, there is another akrishti, yes, to pull or to attract. It's another dimension of interpretation. But krishti are those who are cultivating. This is a good word. Cultivating the soil, cultivating the uncultivated soil with the spirit, with a consciousness. They bring consciousness into the uncultivated soil and becomes cultivated. It grows with life. So they are the cultivators, and he is the upholder of all those who do this work of the sacrifice. And even in between he is kindled, in between heaven and earth. So first was heaven, then these cultivators on the ground, and then even in between. In all 3 realms he is kindled. Okay? Questions? No? Impressions? I'm talking too much, I know. I try to come to that ecstatic, crescendo, always looking for it, and it's not reaching, falling back. One more climb, try one more time. Maybe now, maybe by repetition.
Vladimir, you are so funny. You're a musician, Vladimir. My question is, can you talk a little bit more about the young poet?
Yeah, young poet, beautiful, yes. Young or ever young, let us say. He's never old. Agni is always young, always born now, in this moment of time only, always in this moment of time, eternal, infinite, immortal, young, ever young. Because when we realize the soul or the soul presence, we feel like this, we become ever young. It is never giving up. It is never satisfied with what it achieves. It climbs always higher and higher, as Aurobindo beautifully says here, you remember here, and clambers whitening to the invisible throne. He is constantly climbing and constantly becoming brighter and brighter to the invisible throne which can never be reached. Yeah.
Can we also look at it like this? Because Agni also represents that willpower, the divine will in man. And in a very practical sense, every time we have the willpower, we exert our willpower, or we connect with the willpower to do anything. There is always, if one is very conscious, there will always be some discovery that you will have with this willpower, application of that will, and that is this kavi, the seeing of something. So without exercising that willpower, we are deprived of any new sight. But when you make that effort, then there are realizations, then there are seeings that take place, which is the kavi part of it. So from the deeper psychic point of view, the Agni, of course, when that touches us, then we are transformed. but also in a more practical, if I may say, more mundane sense of the ordinary life, where uh, kindling that Agni within, lighting that Agni, has revelations.
Yeah, yeah. The willpower, the application, the overcoming the obstacles is always a great joy, great realization. If I overcome myself, if I conquer myself by myself, this is the greatest conquest I can have. Yeah, I conquer something, some weakness in me, some, dullness, something which is clinging to the ordinary, to the, to the retirement, to the rest. I want to retire, to rest, to sit and to enjoy myself. Yeah? So to say, by doing nothing, by not really overcoming, by not applying will. I am afraid of applying will. I am too old, too tired. I want to sleep. This is the opposite. And the moment I overcome it, first, overcoming is very difficult. Yeah, everything resists. Our dull body resists. Our inertia resists. Everything is heavy, difficult. But the moment you overcome, you feel the joy of life. There is again flame there somewhere burning. Yeah.
If I can,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. No, I was also because from Sri Aurobindo's works only, he talks of ar as in to cultivate. I'm just connecting it here. So he says, whoever cultivates the field that the Supreme Spirit has made for him, his earth of plenty within and without, does not leave it barren or allow it to seed, but labors to extract from it its full yield, is by that effort an Aryan. And then the when he talks of ar as in fight, he says, self-perfection is the aim of the self-conquest. Therefore, what he conquers, he does not destroy, but ennobles and fulfills. He knows that the body, life, and mind are given him in order to attain to something higher than they. Therefore, they must be transcended and overcome, their limitations denied, the absorptions of their gratifications rejected. For without the Aryan, for always the Aryan is a worker and warrior. He spares himself no labor of mind or body, whether to seek the highest or to serve it. He avoids no difficulty. He accepts no cessation from fatigue. Always he fights for the coming of that kingdom within himself and in the world. So this idea of
Beautiful.
that, what you were saying, the
Yeah,
fire,
overcoming.
when that is lit, that willpower, then okay.
And this is from Route 3. Now you can see the full set. Yeah, not only the cultivating the soil, but also the richati. We spoke about etymologically, like drilling, yeah, like breaking through, yeah, like constantly overcoming the obstacles, rising higher and higher means you have to overcome obstacles. You have to break through resistances. Resistances oppress you, and you break through. It is this Aryan. Aryan goes through resistances. As there was one great Agni Yogin in Russia. His name is Rerich. Maybe some of you know he is a painter, yeah, Nikolai Rerich, and he was the founder of Agni Yoga. Very beautiful Himalayas. He was painting Himalayas all the time. And he spoke in this, he found many interesting stories from this region in Tibet and Himalayas. And in one of the stories, there is this phrase, I can't forget. Did you learn to welcome the obstacles? Did you learn to be happy to meet the obstacles? Oh, the obstacle is here. I'm full of energy. Finally, I have something to do. Because obstacles are showing us where to apply the energy, where to go. It doesn't show us where not to go. It shows us exactly where to go. And this is for Aryans, not for other people. And I must tell you, this is not something difficult. It's amazing. It's not about difficulty. Aryan is easily taking it, happily. There is a happiness of taking it. It's a natural happiness. It is not. He will not even notice that he took the obstacle. He is just happy to do it. Yeah? For the other person, it would be, oh, what did you do? You took so much. How can you do? And the person, the Aryan, would not even notice that he did something. It was just natural for him to do, because this flame is there. He cannot but go with the flame. That flame is there, makes him Aryan. Not that his mind has to become, decide, now I have the obstacle, I have to deal with it. No, he is enthusiastically overcoming. He is not even remembering what he did overcome. It's like Rashi when she comes with her courses into our university. She is full of energy. She doesn't care what it takes. It's like a bursting. Everything is done in a minute. Everything is finished. Everybody is ignited. So what obstacles? Where obstacles? There was no obstacles. Everybody is burnt to ashes already. It is like this, yeah. So it's like it's a very natural process. That's what I want to say. It's not something unnatural that we have to meet obstacles and then we have to welcome them. Okay, let me welcome the obstacle. I must. Yeah, beautiful. This Agni, this energy, this young seer, the young poet, ever young, always rising, always flaming. Can you stop flaming, Rashi? You can't stop flaming.
Vladimir, now I'm becoming the opposite. I am tired. And sleepy. I want to sleep, Vladimir. Please.
Sometimes one has to go into the lap of the dusk mother who could take you in like Ratri. She will take you in and you will assimilate all your energy into her depth, into her bosom. In her bosom nurtured the greater dawn. You remember how Savitri ends, yeah? Mm-hmm. You remember Savitri starts with the night and ends with the night, yeah? The night with silver moon, with stars, and in her bosom she nurtures a greater dawn. So that's why night is needed. There is a resting place where the greater light is being nurtured, prepared, and then there will be breaking of the greater light. That's why you need to rest.
Vladimir, can you also talk about the that was from the previous one, but it hasn't left my mind, the everlasting disguised as time. I think I'm just stolen on it. I can't process anything further. I mean, it's so beautiful. I don't know what it means, but if you could talk a bit about it.
And where is that in the previous?
Above this, here somewhere. No.
Yeah, there.
Yeah?
Yeah, just go down.
Down?
It was just here.
Oh, in Savitri.
In Savitri, yeah.
Okay.
It was written in the explanation.
Everlasting. Okay, I will find. Everlasting disguised, yeah? We have several everlastings.
No, not everlasting. Eternity disguised as time. No.
Eternity.
Or what was it? I think disguised as time.
Time
if you
from
look at
capital.
Disguise, maybe if you search for disguise, because
Do you see?
no. Maybe without the D.
Yeah, without the
Oh.
D. Disguise.
The last name.
No, disguise.
Ah. Oh, here it is.
Yeah. And
everlasting puts on times disguise.
Times disguise. Okay, now I see. Right. where God child, this God child is constantly, this for me is a big puzzle about God child, the flame child born. You remember flame child born? Beautiful passage. And his God child lies on the lap of night and dawn, and the everlasting, the one who is represented by the fire here, puts on time's disguise, puts on all this disguise in time as manifestation in time. Everything is symbolically representing him, the everlasting. But in time, it is viewed only in a particular perspective, in a particular time frame, in a particular section, as it were. And that is the disguise. The disguise is happening because of time factor.
So it's like something which is incomprehensibly vast is now become linear so that it is accessible.
Yeah, linear or framed in time, so you know that this is where it is. You call it like this, yeah? And we call it like this. I call you Rashi, you call me Vladimir, but this is a disguise, time's disguise of the everlasting.
Oh, okay. Oh.
There's another, if I can, there's another way of also. So there was a part of some educational in some school in the villages. The children were asked to learn something from their grandparents and come and teach the other students something that they didn't learn in school. So one kid comes back and tells the students that my grandfather told me that if the crow builds the nest near the edge of the tree, of the branch, it means there will be a poor monsoon. If the crow builds the nest near the trunk, there will be an excellent monsoon. The question is, how does the crow know 3 months in advance what kind of monsoon there is going to be? So this whole thing of the linearity of things, what Vladimir spoke about, that we conceive of time as being linearly unfolding itself, but actually everything is already there if one knows how to tap into it. That's why we could have Trikala Drishtas. So this everlasting is always there. There is no beginning. There is Anadi Ananta. There is no beginning. There is no end. So it's all there. But because we have an entry and an exit, we then tend to map reality with this entry and exit. So we look at things in a linear fashion because of our own, the linear progression of our earthly existence.
Yeah, true. In fact, what you're saying is like when I'm doing a channeling session, I can see past lives of people and I can see future possibilities. And for me and I speak about it very fluidly because for me it's just such a real thing, But for the people who have reached out to me and who are suffering from some disease which nobody can cure or something like that, for them, it's so bizarre to actually function from that kind of a sense. So when I read this, I was like, isn't it some part of what we do as artists or healers or something? We kind of travel through times and we make the present moment come in a certain linear structure so that normal people can access it. So I was actually relating it to myself, and which is why I just wanted to have clarity. But it's wonderful whatever you add. You know why? Because Vladimir is the Vata. He's an artist, a musician, a creator. So he talks with all these, he's like the crescendo he wants to be. And then Anuradha comes and Dhad comes on the ground, like earth, completely earthiness. And it is just such a great balance, because I'm like him, where I'm traveling in the cloud. I've forgotten I have to eat dinner. And then Anuradha says, but we have to plow the land and you have to eat the food. Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay. It's quite interesting how this is going. It's wonderful. Thank you, Anuradha.
Yes, well, Anuradha is not only the ground, she is also the depth of that flame within. This is something, she brings this integral view or touch, which is coming from the vision or global vision. Yeah? But it's always, it has to be also practical in whatever sense. It can be conceptually practical, mentally, vitally, or physically. Yeah? It has to be somewhere having some sense of application, something doing, something transforming. It cannot be standing by itself like hazy, like disappearing. And Though she enjoys that hazy part, and she puts it into the format immediately. Working. You have to work now.
No. I think this is the carryover of my PhD work, which was about trying to find the applicational component of the Vedic vision that Sri Aurobindo had. So I think this is just a carryover of that.
Very nice, very nice. You're most welcome with this. We actually built here Institute of Applied Research in Integral Studies. So you fit very well to this idea also. Yeah, applied research is important. We can apply it through doing like Rashi is doing. She is applying all the time when she's doing the courses. Yes, Rashi.
No, that's what I was saying, that, many times, Anuradha, I always say right in the beginning, I'm not here for a scholarly discussion. If it is not going to come into people's life and do something good, then I don't want to discuss here. And so it's sometimes difficult for me to just engage in a, but because this man is an artist, he brings that beauty, which is like, so, I'm like hooked on to it. And of course, what he's saying about her if there were no depth, it would be just somebody giving some jargon and we would have left the class, like, okay, somebody's giving some gyan. Whereas she comes from such depth, which is why it works. I think it's a very beautiful.
Absolutely.
No, I think like what I enjoy with Vladimir is that he's really able to, because he sees it. The whole of the Vedic literature is about a seeing, and because of his engagement, so he's able to. I mean, he resonates with that seeing. I think that is what we feel.
Rather,
so
yes.
He resonates with that seeing, and we are transported. Okay, yeah, that's wonderful. It's somewhere out there, like.
He actually paints the picture in the mind.
Satyam. No, and that's also the Vedic language is very full of images and all. It's like glorious images, but he very powerfully conveys that, And I think what I love about Vladimir, the class is that because he feels it, there is a certain feeling seeing, if I can say. There's a seeing, felt seeing, like,
Yeah, today I was sitting before the class and I looked into this hymn and I said to myself, what is this? What is this beauty? What is this depth? Why it is given? Such a treasure is given. Just read these words. They are all in the right place. Everything is perfect. Perfect in the vision, in the feeling, in the everything. You feel the delight from the it's like honey. Like honey is coming to you just without you asking it, without you squashing it, it's an unbelievable treasure. I don't know why people don't go in this direction. They would benefit from it. It's cleansing the whole system. It's like taking another life. Every time another life, fresh look. Incredible. Veda is powerful. It's not instructing, it's giving you the delight. Take it. And not only the delight, the knowledge. It gives you the tuning through which you start seeing other things. Wherever you look, you start seeing it. And it was all coming from from this verse. This verse kind of tuned you to your consciousness, to the higher seeing. So you can continue with your delight.
Completely keeps connecting you to the expanse. So you can keep fighting with the narrowness and the limitation that is surrounding you at all times. Because, you immediately shoot off on the top and you can just see it as a tiny little thing. Because we have touched this or tasted this. I mean, I cannot even say I know this. But, we've just felt it at some level. And it just, I guess for me, if there was like I feel because I see so much and I do so much and there's so much happens in my life, which is so connected to every crappy things that happens in the world. I feel this is just because of this, the Vedas, that I can still, wake up next morning because I know whatever is being shown to me is just nothing. It's this, it's just, and to remind myself to, find that bliss that, what you're talking about, that the delight. Even if like the only piece of fruit falls on the ground and is full of mud. I can pick it up. I can say, oh, mud, what delight. Pop. So it gives me hope, Vladimir. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Time's disguise. We are always this bewildered by this time's disguise, and we believe that disguise is actually something real or something final. But there is everlasting. Everlasting has to be found in everything, and He is everywhere, in everything, in the smallest and the biggest. And once we tune to that, looking, finding Him, and that's what the Veda does for us. It teaches us or trains our consciousness, tunes it towards this particular finding the everlasting. Great, we can stop here today. Yes, Jessel, you were saying something. We interrupted you, no?
No. I was just saying that you kind of paint a picture, which is very visual. So, yeah.
It is in a way visual. I noticed something interesting. I'm not really doing the picture until it is appearing. I'm just following the words, more the words around, beating around the words. Like Devayatam, who would translate Devayat as seeking the divine manifestation, or who are seeking the divinity or divinizing. Devayati, just causative from div. Just imagine, I'm just speaking now linguistically to Anuradha. Just think about it. Devayatam shashti bahuvachanam, of the ones who are seeking or who are divinizing or are seeking the divine, who want the divine. So this devayati, which can be causative, can be denominative. Both can be, because aya can be added to either. So it's on the edge of the both. It is suggesting both. Divinizing and seeking the divine and wanting the divine, making the divine possible, within themselves, within the world. So of those, manansi. So how much you can say about one word, and I feel this word. That's why we translate it quite differently with Sri Aurobindo. Who aspire to divinize their nature completely, I am translating, you see, because I am inspired by this idea of devayati. I'm taking it from the language. And so once you follow this slowly picture appears, and then you see the picture, wow, it is okay, manas and the mind and the altar of our manas free will and agni flaming within us. We give to our flaming will within us, divine will. And the same as all the visions and knowledge come together in the supramental consciousness, Chakshun Shiva Surya Sancharanti. Yes? So you see this gathering, this particular powerful, in the same way then when the two dusk and dawn, or the dawn and the night, two mothers, produce him different in form, virupe, the two mothers, the dawn and the night. Vaji, Shvetoya Vaji, the white steed, Jayate, is born finally, Agreyanam, in front of the days. This is like a crescendo, one verse, and I'm there, I feel it. And not only feel, I can see this, it's really seeing. You are right, it's about seeing, feeling, hearing, everything comes into, maybe this is the integral paradigm, and all the faculties come together and they are no more contradicting. They are in harmony, in harmonious action.
I just had a thought when you were talking of Devayatam Manansi, because the mind in itself is an instrument of dark. I mean, it's not an instrument of knowledge. No? The Manaha is oscillating between right and wrong. It doesn't really know what it is. And you have Devayatam. So it's almost like this guha, the cave that the Vedas describes. And this Agni is spreading its light, and the mind that is willing to get enlightened, so it's like casting its light on it, and the mind, there has to be receptivity. One can close the doors of the mind also and remain dark. The Devayatam, that glow of the warm glow of the Agni, is reflecting in itself in that mind stuff, no?
Yeah, less like Maruts. Yeah, Maruts who are seeking the truth, these mental energies who are born in the darkness, they are born from deity, but still they're operating by the light within them, which is given to them by Indra, their second father, as it were. And so they are with that light of the sun. They do not know that, but that blazing light which is in their weapons is leading them in search of the truth. That's why our mental energies are seeking the truth, whatever it may be, without knowing what they are seeking until the truth is found. But then they discover that within them there was a truth which was leading them. Yeah. And that is Chakshun Shi Iva Surya, as if the visions in the Surya come together, all the visions.
The truth. The truth, the Surya, the light of truth. I mean, from a very practical point of view.
Right, the supermind, yes.
Light which allows the mind, the truth.
Right, Aurobindo's coverage in the sun that illumines, their seeings converge in the sun that illumines. Right, okay, we stop here for today, and and we'll continue from. Okay.
Astu, dhanyavadam.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Namaste.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.